Aloha, I'm Jake Shimabukuro. I'm an ukulele player from Hawaii, and you're watching Eclectic Arts.
Well, we're here in Edmonds at the Edmonds Center for the Arts, and we're here with Mr. Jake Shimabukuro. How are you doing today?
Aloha, doing great. Yeah,
Awesome.
just looking forward to the show tonight. The weather's been gorgeous, and yeah, I just love spending time in this area of the country.
Nice. Yeah, definitely welcome back. I've had a chance to see you. This will be my fourth time seeing you in the area. So,
Thank you.
yeah. And you've been promoting The Greatest Day for over a year now because the album came out last August of
That's right, yeah.
2018. So, one thing I wanted to kind of just talk about right off the top is that I don't know, it may have been 6, 7 years ago, you were kind of hesitant about touring too much. I think it's because of family life and kids and that type of thing. And then the last couple of years, it's been like tour, 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 it seems like. So I'm just kind of wondering, did anything change or just kind of like you found the balance?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely cut back from what I was doing, 5, 6 years ago. But I think I found a nice balance now, especially with both of my children in school now and things like that. It's been, especially since they're at the same school, it's been a little easier now because they're on the same school schedule.
Right.
So just looking ahead at the year and being able to be home during certain areas of the year, like spring break or summer vacation, or when there's 3-day weekends or any kind of opportunity where they don't have school and we can have good quality family time, with as a unit. That's always wonderful, because we can take family trips, we can go camping, we can go fishing, things like that. And so I think it's been a good balance. I definitely cut back. We do probably about 110, 120 shows a year now, as opposed to doing 150, 160. So it's been great. Just even though I do travel a lot, the nice thing is when I go home, I don't have I can volunteer at their school, during the day. I can just dedicate my whole time, to my family, which is a real luxury, right? So, but it is hard to be away from them. It's hard to, of course, I miss them, but music and performing, that's a big part of my passion, what fulfills me too. So even though I do have to be away from them, I hope that I can be a good role model in the sense where I can show them that, hey, if you find something that you really believe in and you're passionate about and you feel it's something positive, then you should pursue it, right? And that's what I would hope for them, like in the future, if they find something that they're super passionate about or anything that they want to do and they really believe in and they feel they can commit their life to it, and and hopefully find a partner who could who is also independent with their own mission too, but it can work together. If it takes them away from Hawaii, but they're happy, doing what they're doing, I want to support them, whatever, in whichever way I can. And same, my wife too, she's very passionate about her career, and so she's able to, we're able to support each other and each other's endeavors, but at the same time, when we are together, we can just have that really good, undiluted, like focused quality time, together, which I think is so important. And then, with technology, doing things like FaceTiming and just staying in contact, through with cell phones and things like that. In fact, right before this, before meeting, I went to a little kind of art supply card shop, and I found these cute little cards, and so I was writing, you know, little cards to my kids, and you know, just little things like that. I think just to kind of keep that connection
Right.
is so important.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's also going to be something that your kids, I'm sure they can hang on to and collect. And when they're, you know, teenagers or, you know, adults, they can look at this card that they got from Dad from Edmond back in 2019, and that's going to be pretty cool for them. It's almost like they're traveling with you, that they're in these other spots of the world too.
And that's the nice thing, you know, is I get to, I think I try to make, you know, whatever I'm doing out here, almost like turn it into a learning opportunity, right, for them. So being out here on the West Coast, or just kind of walking around taking photos for them and pointing out, you know, certain things about the city or about the state, and teaching them about different parts of the country and the world, you know, I think is great experience, you know, for them, because my kids are only 7 years old and 4 years old. So I think just letting them know where I am or where I'm going, you know, or where I went to, and showing them on the map, this is where we went, showing them the kinds of food that we ate, you know, showing them pictures of eating the chowder in the bowl today,
Right.
you know, or fish and chips, and you know, they just start to remember those things. I think it's more, you know, meaningful since I'm here and sharing those experiences with them.
Yeah, and that's got to be awesome. One thing I want to kind of segue into, well, actually, let me ask a follow-up question. Are either of your children right now musically inclined?
Yeah, I mean, they love music. You know, music is definitely something that's always, you know, going on. We're experiencing it somehow in the house all the time, whether it's, you know, listening to a CD, or listening to a record, or playing, you know, or I'm practicing, or, you know, they're playing along with me, or we're singing and dancing, you know, doing fun stuff like that. I think, yeah, it's definitely something that's important to us and something they enjoy. And I don't know, for me, it's very important, you know, to keep that, keep music in the environment, you know, in our home environment. And the school that they go to, you know, they're very, they place a priority on music and arts as well, you know. So
Okay.
I think trying to reflect that at home, you know, really helps. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Now I'll kind of segue into the greatest day. And one thing I wanted to ask about that was that you had put up a video about the title track, the song, and you kind of gave some background about you're up late one night, I think in Tennessee,
Yeah.
and you know, kind of worked on the music. You didn't have the title yet, but then when you guys were in the studio, there was just one of those like really a great session, but also like a really great day happened to happen, and that's kind of like where the title came from. Are there other days that you can think of just off the top of your head that you consider that fit right in there too? That these are also greatest days that have happened recently?
Oh yeah, I mean, just, I mean, you know, of course, whenever I'm back home with my family, you know, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, every minute's the greatest, you know, the greatest minute, you know, or hour that I get to spend with them. And, but, you know, outside of my home life and personal life, you know, being out on the road with people that, you know, I truly care about, and people that truly care about me, and the fact that we can explore music together, and just push each other, you know, to be better musicians, to be better people. It's kind of nice because the way I kind of look at time spent away from home, you know, being on the road, is I kind of feel like, because the people that I travel with, you know, especially with Nolan and Dave, you know, just such incredible musicians and human beings, you know, they're both fathers as well. It's nice because I feel like when we're out on the road, you know, we talk a lot, and we share things, and you know, if we have certain things that we may need help with, you know, we can kind of help each other, you know, because we all have different experiences and different backgrounds. And so sometimes I feel like, you know, when we leave home and we come out on the road, it's like our time to kind of do like an upgrade, you know, to kind of try to become better fathers, better husbands, you know, just better people in general. And then when we go back home, you know, it's like we can kind of put those new things, you know, to the test, and just, you know, try to navigate, you know, whatever waters we're going through, you know, with new perspective, fresh perspective, and I think it's a very healthy, you know, environment. Yeah, but the key is not being away too long. I think for me, you know, like I don't like to be away from home longer than 2 weeks, you know, at a time. So even if I'm gone for 2 weeks, and even if I just go home for like 3 or 4 days, to me it's worth it.
Okay.
You know, to just go home and reconnect and then come back out. So. Yeah.
Nice. And I think we actually kind of talked about this a year ago in the other interview, but it's pretty rare, I would say, to find musicians like Dave and Nolan that there's such a synergy with the three of you that I remember you talked about you want to keep exploring it and keep kind of going through it. So kind of where are things now with, you mentioned they're incredible musicians, incredible people. Have you kind of found like another avenue, like, oh, now we start exploring, I don't know, a different style of music, or you guys were jamming during sound check and something just kind of, whoa, that was pretty magical. Because again, it's pretty rare to find musicians that you so connect with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. In fact, I think I'll bring them over to the hot seat to have them talk as well. Yeah, Nolan, Dave, come.
Cool. Sure. I'm Nolan, Vernon. I play bass for Jake.
I'm Dave Preston. I play guitar and occasionally sing for Jake.
Nice. So we were talking earlier about the synergy with the three of you, and Jake was getting ready to kind of talk about that, and then lo and behold, here you are. So now I have all three of you here. I've had a chance to see Jake and Nolan as a duo before, and then I saw all three of you last year at Benaroya Hall, and there's definitely something that is like, you can have musicians kind of come together and be professional and just go through a chart and everything's great, but then to kind of have that actual other level of connection is rare to see, and you guys have it. So I'm just kind of wondering if you can kind of speak to what it's like working with each other, really.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was pretty immediate when I met Nolan first, you know, about 5 years ago, and yeah, it was a song called 143 that we just started playing together. You know, that I had sent him a chart for that song, or a demo of that song, and he learned it, and you know, it was our first meeting, and we sat down and we just started playing, and it was like 2 measures in already. I was just like, oh my goodness, this is, you know, like, yeah, I just felt that instant connection, and I think, I don't know if he did, but I did. And then a few years after touring together, we met Dave at a recording session, and you know, the three of us sat down. We had never met Dave before, never played with him, didn't know anything about him, and you know, we sat down and started playing, and we were like playing all the same stuff, and it was crazy because, you know, it was like we had been rehearsing, or we had been talking about it, and Nolan was like, man, yeah, we should get that guy's number. We should, you know, see if, you know, future opportunities to maybe do something together and collaborate. So we did, and so that was my perspective. You know,
Okay.
I'm not sure what their perspective was.
Yeah. A buddy of mine, when we met, a buddy of mine, a mutual friend of ours, Brad Corrigan, I was doing some recording with him, and he had me out in the booth, and he had me do this fast finger picking thing with an acoustic guitar, and he goes, I wonder who can do that faster, you or Jake Shimabukuro. And I went, Jake Shimabukuro. And so that night when we all met, Brad was there, Nolan was there, Jake was there, and it was pretty clear that we were saying very similar things at the same time. It was really interesting. So I started that finger picking thing just to kind of see what would happen. And Jake took that cue and he looked at it and started playing it, and then he just took off. He was a lot faster than me. He doesn't know that this happened. So I surrendered to his tale.
Oh, whatever.
Okay. And Nolan, what about yourself? What do you kind of recall? those early meetings?
Yeah, same thing as Jake. It was just kind of a like a pretty instant. He's a guy that you have to really listen to him when he plays, and he plays very much how he feels. And he's always sweet and always in an amazing mood. But that's been the most enjoyable thing about it, is like you get on stage and it's just such a, as much as it is a player's gig, and he gives us so much freedom to kind of play around him or do what we want, put our own spin on stuff. It's also just such a listening gig, because you get to try to stay in tune as much as you can with him as far as what he's going to do or where he wants to go, and just try and do that with him. And so there's kind of naturally just this emotional connection that happens between all three of us, and Dave as well, where, you know, we're kind of all trying to listen so intently to each other and then create whatever it is that our parts are going to be, or what our ideas are, that it's cohesive and that it's not, you know, getting in the way of each other. So I think that's just a really unique thing that kind of keeps us emotionally connected on stage, but then also off stage as well. It's weird how it connects us personally too, from that perspective. But it starts with him and just and listening and kind of feeling, you know, how he's playing, all that.
Okay. And for those out there that maybe aren't completely familiar with Dave and Nolan, your backgrounds, can you kind of speak to what you've done? Obviously, you're here with Jake, but also what else you've done, so people got a better idea of your backgrounds.
Yeah, I moved from North Carolina to Nashville back in 2009, and just kind of packed up and went. Wanted to try and do the music thing, and mom and dad were super supportive, so went. And then I think probably within 6 months was able to kind of land a little gig, and then toured. I wanted to do session stuff and try and get into that scene, but you kind of have to cut your teeth and get some experience, and so did that for a while and just played for various artists and try to stay busy, try to build a resume and do sessions here and there. And then I guess probably about 4 or 5 years in, Jake had a manager that had a co-managing venture with a country artist I was working with, and reached out to me and asked about some bassists, because Jake was wanting to travel as a duo. And so I sent him some guys to audition and put my name in the list as well, because I was like, I just got to play with this guy. So, that's kind of how we met and sort of what I was doing before. So.
Okay. And Dave?
I started doing music full time. I was 20, session guy around Denver, which wasn't that big of a scene to make a living in. Played a lot of gigs with singer-songwriters and blues and jazz, and started making ambient music, and found my way into a lot of pop, and then just always had a lean towards film scoring, and still session work. Loved writing songs. Really just kind of obsessed with every genre of music, to be honest. And what the philosophies are of it, and how you approach the instrument. It's so drastic with every genre. And I think naturally that's where the three of us just connect. Because Nolan, being a Nashville session guy, has to be able to change genres so quickly. And Jake is just such a monster fan of the music and how it expresses itself through various parts of the world, that it just becomes, I think, just so fun for the three of us to do our own take on rock and reggae and classical even, and so I don't know, that my background's just kind of all over the place, really. I've held a guitar in my hands now longer than a baseball glove.
Wow. Okay. So you had a baseball background then?
Yeah, I played baseball.
He was starting pitcher for the Denver Browns.
Yeah, played a lot.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Well, you know, these guys, they're so humble, and they won't, you know, they don't like to talk too much about themselves, but, you know, but I can, you know, and, you know, I mean, they're such, you know, accomplished and respected musicians, you know, by peers and other artists. You know, Nolan's toured with, I think it was Eric Churchill when we first met, right?
Pasley.
Oh yeah, Eric Pasley, and then he's also played with like Dolly Parton, Meghan Trainor, Leanne Rimes. This guy's been out with Justin Timberlake, Kelly Clarkson, Rob Thomas, and,
Zach
so-
Wilde.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I mean, they're just and they're so humble, and but they're both just such incredible players, and so it's.
Yeah, Jake as well. We'll walk into venues and we'll see like all the artist posters I have around, and Dave and I will look at Jake and be like, "Man, have you ever heard of this?" And whoever it may be, some astounding artist, and Jake's like, "Oh yeah." And at some point we'll pull it out of him that he like toured with him for half
Oh.
a year or something. Of just who knows who it is.
Yeah.
But
Oh no, man.
Same with Jake. He's had his hand in so much.
Wow, that's awesome. Kind of get close to wrapping this up. What are some of the things when it comes to, and maybe Jake, maybe you can speak to this directly, the set list? Is it something strictly that you do, or do like Nolan and Dave have a little bit of input, or like if you're going to do like a new cover song in the set? Is there something where, because I know you're kind of messing around with that Whitney Houston song recently. It came up on your social media. I think I Want to Dance with Somebody. You're doing
Oh
something.
no, we were just.
You're just messing around with stuff.
Yeah.
But but if you
Did that get on social media?
yeah, I saw it somewhere.
So, it was just, the reason we were just doing it was just like not a joke, but it was just a quick thing, because Dave's wife, who's an amazing singer, they play in a band together called Deerling. And so there was this event, and it was some kind of karaoke or karaoke event that was put on. So, Dave's wife is just an amazing singer, Rachel James, and I guess so she went up to kick it off or whatever,
Having fun.
and she sang,
Okay.
I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. So Dave, I was like, oh man, do you have a video of that? And then so Dave showed me a video, and she's just rocking it, just killing it. I mean, nobody wanted to sing after she sang, right? But then, so just for fun, we're like, oh, here, let's play a little bit of it and send it to Rachel. So so that's why we kind of we were messing around the melody, and we just played a little bit of it, and then I guess
I don't know how that happened.
somebody leaked that video.
Okay. Well, that explains it then.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't. It was just. I mean,
Just for
we
fun.
were just messing around.
Okay. One thing I would like to hear from all three of you that I've asked some other musicians recently is like, for up and coming musicians, and Jake, I know you do a lot of things with schools, and you're just doing something up in Bellingham, I think, where you kind of snuck in when they're doing their sing along and all these other kind of things. But what kind of advice would you give to younger aspiring musicians, all three of you? What kind of things would you tell somebody?
Oh, goodness. I feel like we're all pretty much on the same page with, and Jake says just amazing stuff every night from stage, a kind of encouragement from it. But a lot of it seems to stem for me, and I think for us, of just the importance of arts for kids and what it does, and music for sure in our own lives, but so many different forms of it, and just the kind of all the creativity it breeds in a child's mind, and but yeah, whether it's music or whether it's painting or whether it's writing or whatever it could be, and yeah, I'm probably just gonna repeat what they say, but I had such a great support system around me, and that was a big thing. Much like with anything, my parents were massively supportive, and so just finding if a kid can find something that they love doing, almost it's hard to pull them away from. Bass was that for me, playing music was that for me, and then I had just a really great support system and some teachers and my parents, and it just kind of gave me a platform to want to pursue it and to never feel odd about how much time I wanted to spend or the pursuit of it. And so I think that. I think just trying to find a way where you can kind of have the opportunity to be around people like-minded and have that encouragement and then world around you. But yeah, kind of Jake again, he always sums it up so well.
Yeah, Jake really has a way of saying it great. Real great.
No pressure.
Yeah, right. No, there are ways to say things in music that language just can't do, and I think for encouraging younger musicians, it's to pay attention to how music connects everything, and how it seems to supersede different classes of people, and how different people resonate to similar music. I mean, it's really, really incredible. And also, if you play from your heart, then it doesn't matter if you're the most successful musician. You're just playing from the right place. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just, ditto everything that Nolan and Dave said. And I think, and it's so different in this day and age, like you just never know what's going to pop up on social media, So, I mean, the one advice I would give is, just make sure that everything you do, you stand behind it 100%. You believe in it, and you take responsibility for it. Make sure that everything you do is, to the utmost quality, or at least, if not, or at least make sure that, you are willing to take responsibility, for whatever it is that you're putting out or saying or doing, and because nowadays everything's being recorded, everything's out there for everyone to see. So it's good and it's bad. I like it in the sense where, because you can share an important message, and through social media now you can reach hundreds and thousands of people, with that message, so one of the things, like, I always try to encourage young people. I mean, all three of us try to do is encourage them to find their passion. If it's music, then like, play from the heart, believe in what you're doing, be a lifelong learner in that tradition, or in that whatever it is that you love doing. Study, practice, and the other big thing is we always encourage people to be drug-free, because the three of us have been drug-free our whole lives, and I think that's so important. Let your passion be your be the thing that makes you feel alive and keeps you going.